of all, a very big welcome to the Ambassador, Dr. Jilan Wahba Abdalmajid, and you're very welcome.
And we're so lucky here that we have so many people from different places that they travel through and they come through and we learn from them. And the 10 years I've been here, we've been lucky enough to have the Mexican ambassador visit, to have the Canadian ambassador visit, and come back again. And tonight, we're delighted and so thankful to have you. Dr. Jilan, we welcome you with open arms, and we're here to learn from you, and hopefully you can learn from some of us. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
10 years ago here, we had an event when the then Palestinian ambassador came to visit Kinvara, and we had a brilliant concert here. The place was stuffed and we had a fantastic night. And I think, you know, then Palestine was in a dire situation, as we all know. And although I can admit to understanding it a lot less then, but it was a cause that was even clear from the distance, a cause of great oppression and injustice. And this community, which is brilliant for getting behind causes, stood up and we raised our voices. None of us, I think, could have imagined that we'd be here 10 years later under circumstances like these, having watched live-streamed genocide and the butchering of tens of thousands of innocent civilians and children, while the world stands back and mostly does nothing. It's infuriating, very frustrating, and I just think it's so important that we continue, those of us who can, to raise our voices for those who have no voice. You can talk about your neighbor. You can grab him by the collar. You can hurt him only if he hollers. Let me go. Let me go. But we all know that's old-fashioned. That can only lead to pain, where we might end up on the corner, taking handouts in the rain. You can bomb your foreign brother. You can hurt him until he dies. You can kill him until he never asks you why. You're on his land, you're on his land. But we all know where that goes. That can only lead to blame, where we might might end up for our country, taking handouts in the rain. You can trample on your sister, you can hurt her only if she cries, you can hurt her only if she cares with all her heart. All her heart. But we all know she'd be a mother, and that can only lead to shame, where she might end up for her children, taking handouts in the rain. Teach your children stories. You can fill them full of life. You can make them all despise one another, one another. But when they all find out later, and they call us by our rightful names, they'll send us shamefully to old age, taking handouts in the rain. Taking handouts in the rain, taking handouts in the
The question was put to me quite recently about why is there so much interest in Palestinian solidarity, in Palestinian liberation in this tiny village on the edge of the Atlantic. And I suppose that's part of a bigger question about why there's so much interest and support and solidarity in Ireland in general. And that probably comes from some kind of shared understanding of the dynamics of colonialism and occupation. And colonialism and occupation that is portrayed as a religious conflict. And why can't you all just realise you're so similar and just get along? So I think we have that understanding in Ireland. It's not the same experience, but we have that recognition of the deep injustices and the need for a political solution to a political problem as opposed to just hugging each other. We don't necessarily have to meet people face to face to recognise common humanity when every day the actions and the policies and the inactions create a dehumanising effect. So I'm really proud to be part of a community that has held strong on that sense of shared humanity. and really delighted that we're here to speak about this. So as a group, we've been very active, sometimes clumsy. We're learning all the time. Our analysis is building. There's always been a diversity of opinions and approaches in politics. We try to accommodate all that, but we're very, very proud to have this meeting happen this evening, and thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you very much.
And as you'll have heard from Vicky, Kinvara is no stranger to denouncing the abuse of the human rights of the Palestinian people and for taking tangible action. In October of 2023, the village mobilised when a public meeting was called in response to the situation in Gaza. It was called by Aisling, Niamh Keaty Cabal, Vicky, and we had 2 Palestinian women from the University of Galway, the Centre for Human Rights. The venue was overflowing. There was nowhere to sit apart from the floor, and people spilled out onto the street. So we felt the absolute need to take some form of action, and from this public event, the Kinvara Palestine Solidarity Group was formed, and in the following weeks we did all the nuts and bolts, the terms of action, the subgroups, and what was needed. So simply our vision, what is the vision of the Kinvara Palestine Solidarity Group, is to see the Palestinian people secure their rights of self-determination and equality. And our mission is to collectively work together for peace, equality and justice, and against racism, occupation and colonialism. We've supported medical aid for Palestine and for legal action taken by Global Legal Action Network and El-Haq against the sales of weapons to Israel. So I suppose we're motivated by the horrors that we witness daily in Gaza and in the West Bank. And we just try to do something rather than nothing. Solidarity is in our name, and we try to express this solidarity with the Palestinian people in the actions that we take. So we're delighted to have you here with us this evening. Thank you very much. Shukran.
I offer these pieces as a prayer for hope, for a new dawn, a new day, L'Sab, Palestine.
And now, what we all came here for was to welcome the ambassador. You're so welcome, and I'm going to hand over to you to say some words to us.
Thank you.
They asked me to sit. No, it's okay. There is a huge seizure of land. There is a huge issue against the Palestinian people in the West Bank. In the last couple of days, the Israelis, they seizures hundreds of hectares from the Jordan Valley, and they announce they approved actually more than 5,000 settlement units. As well, like you know, their far-right government said that every country in the world will recognize Palestine, we will legalize or build a new settlements. So these settlements are illegal according to the international law, and they are built on the expropriated land of the Palestinians. Gaza, the city where I was born and lived all my life before I got married and traveled for my work in several places representing Palestine. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting me, the community of Kinvara. After many years since your courageous community decided to boycott the Israeli settlement products, I'm here in Kinvara tonight and all over Ireland to say to the whole world from this small place that this catastrophe underway is an existential threat that we are facing. Israel's impunity must end. Yet Israel, the occupying power, refused to cease its war on the Palestinians. And I said war here, but it's aggression, it's onslaught. As reported by the Save the Children, the International, over 200,000 children alone in Gaza are estimated to be lost, disappeared, detained, buried under the rubble, or in mass graves. An estimated of 17,000 children in Gaza have been orphaned or left unaccompanied, suffering untold anguish and fear. According to MSF, children are unable to cope with the scale of loss and trauma, and many are expressing desire to die instead of living this terror, demonstrating the word failure to humanity. And I see the Irish people everywhere in this country are protesting for Palestine, for justice, for human rights of the Palestinians. That give me strength to be strong and to speak for my people. And I know that you did it, the Irish people. You led this support in Europe and in the United States. Don't never underestimate what you did, your protest, your voices. You called for justice for the Palestinians, and that was reflected in your governments to support the state of Palestine, to support the Palestinians among Europeans and in the world platforms. With the continued injustice over 76 years, do you think that the region will endure any peace or stability without recognizing the rights of the Palestinian people to self-determination and sovereign state? No. It's a million no's. Justice and injustice will never be equal. Oppression will lead to more violence. Ireland and the Irish people have never, as I said, failed our cause for justice and human rights and freedom. You should be proud that this nation stood up for their principles and were on the right side of history. We need to stay hopeful and to see a brighter future for our people. One day soon, God willing, the war will stop, and we will forget all the pain and carry the harsh memories with us for the rest of our lives to strengthen us, to raise our children and teach them that life is stronger than death, to love life. We will rise from this agony to build a better life for our beloved Gaza, and we will never forget those who were our true friends during the most difficult times, and the Irish people are. Let me say this in the clearest way I can. No arms to kill us, no money to colonize us, no trade to rob us. Every state has a duty to start from there, to make sure its government, entities, companies, and citizens don't contribute in any way anymore to Israeli crimes against the Palestinian people. Long live Palestine. Justice for Palestine. Thank you for your solidarity.